Are you tired of watching your garden fade into boring greens and browns just when everyone else's pumpkins and fall decorations are making their yards look absolutely stunning? Do you find yourself staring out your window, wishing your flower beds could compete with those gorgeous autumn displays you see on social media? What if I told you there's a secret that most gardeners don't know, a way to make your garden the talk of the neighborhood when summer crowds think gardening season is over? What if your garden could burst with more color in October than it had in July? Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal 10 incredible perennials that will transform your late summer and fall garden into a show-stopping masterpiece that gets better every single year. Welcome back to Golden Years Gardening, where we prove that gardening smart beats gardening hard every single time. If you're new here, I'm passionate about helping fellow gardeners create breathtaking spaces without the backache. And today's list is going to change everything you thought you knew about fall gardening. These aren't your grandmother's tired old mums, though we'll talk about those too. These are dynamic, colorful powerhouses that laugh in the face of cooling temperatures and shorter days. Plant 1, Autumn Joy Sedum, zones 3 to 9. Let's start with the absolute queen of late-season drama, Autumn Joy Sedum. And I'm telling you, this plant lives up to its name in the most spectacular way imaginable. Picture this. Thick, succulent leaves that look almost jade-like through the summer, storing up energy like nature's own battery pack. Then, just when other plants start looking tired, this beauty explodes into massive clusters of rich pink flowers. But here's where it gets absolutely magical. Those pink blooms don't just sit there looking pretty. Oh no, they transform right before your eyes as the weather cools. They deepen into this gorgeous coppery red that literally glows when the autumn sun hits it. It's like watching a slow-motion fireworks show in your garden bed. I've been growing Autumn Joy for over 8 years now, and I still get excited every September when those flower heads start their color transformation. Last year, my neighbor stopped her evening walk just to stare at mine, and she asked me what kind of exotic plant I was growing. When I told her it was sedum, she couldn't believe something so low maintenance could look so sophisticated. And speaking of low maintenance, this plant thrives on neglect. It actually prefers poor soil and infrequent watering once established. Perfect for those of us who want maximum impact with minimum fuss. The butterflies absolutely adore it too, so you'll have these gorgeous orange monarchs and painted ladies dancing around those copper-colored blooms well into October. Plant 2, coneflower, purple and hybrid varieties, zones 3 to 9. Number 2 is going to blow your mind. Coneflower, specifically the newer hybrid varieties that keep the party going long after classic purple ones have called it quits. Now, you might think you know coneflowers, but these modern hybrids are game changers for late-season color. The traditional purple coneflower is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Those deep purple petals with the bronze-orange centers are classic cottage garden perfection. But the new varieties? We're talking sunset oranges, coral pinks, sunny yellows, and even some with double petals that look like they belong in a fancy florist bouquet. What makes these absolutely perfect for fall gardening is their incredible staying power. While other perennials are putting their energy into seed production, these beauties just keep pumping out fresh blooms right up until hard frost. I had Cheyenne Spirit blooming in my garden last year until the 3rd week of October, and that's here in Zone 5. The best part? They're practically indestructible once established. Drought? No problem. Poor soil? They actually prefer it. Deer trying to munch your garden? They'll walk right past coneflowers to bother something else. And the seed heads that develop provide food for goldfinches through the winter, so you're supporting wildlife while enjoying months of continuous color. Here's a pro tip I learned the hard way. Deadhead spend blooms regularly through August, but once September hits, let some of those seed heads develop. You'll get the best of both worlds. Continue blooming in natural wildlife feeding stations. Plant 3, Black-Eyed Susan, zones 3 to 9. At number 3, we have Black-Eyed Susan, and this cheerful beauty is like having sunshine growing your garden beds, even on the grayest October days. Those bright golden yellow petals surrounding deep chocolate brown centers create such a warm, welcoming feeling that you can't help but smile every time you see them. But here's what most people don't realize about Black-Eyed Susans. They're actually at their absolute peak performance in late summer and fall. While spring bulbs are long gone and summer annuals are gasping their last breath, these reliable performers are just hitting their stride. The cooler nights and warm days of September and October seem to intensify their golden color, making them practically glow against a changing landscape. I remember the first time I really noticed this phenomenon. It was a particularly dreary October morning. You know the kind, overcast and chilly, the kind that makes you want to stay inside with a cup of coffee. But when I glanced out my kitchen window, there were my black-eyed Susans absolutely blazing with color, looking more vibrant than they had all summer long. It was like they were defying the season, refusing to let autumn steal their thunder. The maintenance factor is another huge win. These plants are drought-tolerant once established, deer-resistant, and they actually prefer average to poor soil conditions. You literally plant them once, and they reward you with bigger, better displays year after year. They spread naturally but not aggressively, filling in gaps and creating that full, lush look we all want without becoming invasive. And talk about pollinator magnets. Bees, butterflies, and beneficial insects flock to these flowers. Late in the season, when natural nectar sources are becoming scarce, your black-eyed Susans become like a five-star restaurant for migrating monarchs and other butterflies preparing for winter. Plant 4, Russian sage, zones 4 to 9. Number 4 is Russian sage, and this plant brings an entirely different kind of magic to your fall garden, the kind that makes people stop and ask, "What is that gorgeous, silvery thing that looks like it's floating in your garden?" Russian sage is all about texture and movement. Those silvery gray stems covered in tiny lavender blue flowers create this incredible hazy effect, like a soft purple cloud that dances in the slightest breeze. But here's the secret weapon. While most plants look heavy and tired by September, Russian sage looks light and airy and absolutely ethereal. The fragrance is another incredible bonus when you brush against it. And trust me, you'll want to. It releases this clean, herbal scent that's part lavender, part sage with hints of camphor. It's intoxicating without being overwhelming, and it lingers on your hands in the most delightful way. From a practical standpoint, this plant is a dream for senior gardeners. It's incredibly drought-tolerant once established. In fact, it thrives on neglect. Too much water or rich soil actually makes it floppy and less attractive. Plant it once in well-draining soil with full sun. It will reward you with bigger, more beautiful displays every year with virtually no maintenance required. The late-season timing is perfect too. Russian sage doesn't really hit its peak until August and September, then continues looking spectacular well into October. When other perennials are going dormant, Russian sage is still providing color, texture, fragrance, and movement. It's like having a gentle waterfall of color flowing through your garden beds just when you need it most. Plant 5, Aster, the September surprise, zones 3 to 8. At number 5, we have asters, and I'm about to let you in on one of the best-kept secrets in fall gardening. Most people think of asters as those scraggly wild things growing along roadsides, but the cultivated varieties, they're absolute garden royalty, disguised as common wildflowers. Picture this. September arrives. Most gardens are looking tired and ready for winter, and suddenly your aster explodes into thousands, and I mean literally thousands, of tiny star-shaped flowers in most incredible shades of purple, pink, blue, and pristine white. It's like someone scattered handfuls of confetti across your garden beds. Except this confetti stays put and gets more beautiful every day. The timing is absolutely perfect. Right when you're feeling sad about summer ending, asters burst into bloom and remind you that autumn has its own spectacular beauty. Last year, my New England aster didn't start blooming until the second week of September, and it was still gorgeous when I was raking leaves in late October. That's nearly 2 months of continuous, intense color when most other plants have given up. But here's what makes me most excited about asters. They're pollinator powerhouses at exactly the moment when butterflies and bees need them most. Monarch butterflies depend on late-blooming asters for fuel during their incredible migration south. When you plant asters, you're not just beautifying your garden. You're providing a crucial service to wildlife. It gives your gardening such deeper meaning. The practical side is fantastic too. Most asters are incredibly easy to grow, drought-tolerant once established, and they actually prefer average to poor soil. Rich soil makes them grow too tall and floppy. They're perfect for those spots in your garden where other plants struggle, that area with clay soil, the spot that gets afternoon shade, the corner where nothing else seems happy. Plant 6, Helenium, the autumn fire, zones 3 to 8. Number 6 is Helenium, also called sneezeweed. Though don't let that unfortunate common name fool you. This plant is pure autumn fire in flower form, and it's about to become your new obsession. Imagine flowers that look like they were dipped in liquid gold, bronze, and deep orange flames. The petals have this incredible velvety texture and rich, saturated colors that seem to glow from within. But here's the really exciting part. Each flower has this gorgeous dark center that creates the most stunning contrast with those warm petals. What makes Helenium absolutely perfect for fall gardens is its peak blooming time. While other perennials are winding down, Helenium is just getting started in August and continues putting on an incredible show through September and into October. The cooler temperatures actually seem to intensify the flower colors, making them richer and more vibrant than they were in summer. I discovered Helenium by accident 3 years ago. I was at my local nursery in late August, feeling disappointed because most of their perennials looked past their prime. Then I spotted this plant covered in the most incredible orange and gold flowers I'd ever seen. The nursery owner told me it was Helenium Moorhain Beauty, and it was just entering its peak blooming period. I bought 3 plants on the spot, and now I can't imagine my fall garden without them. The height and structure of Helenium makes it perfect for creating dramatic displays. Most varieties grow 3 to 4 feet tall, with sturdy stems that don't need staking. They create this incredible backdrop for shorter fall plants, and the way the flowers catch and reflect light is absolutely mesmerizing. Maintenance-wise, they're wonderfully easy. They prefer full sun and consistent moisture, but aren't fussy about soil quality. Divide them every few years to keep them vigorous, and deadhead spent flowers to encourage continued blooming. That's it. Maximum impact for minimal effort. Plant 7, Japanese Anemone, the elegant finale, zones 4 to 8. At number 7, we have Japanese Anemone, and this plant brings pure elegance to your fall garden in a way that will take your breath away. If other fall flowers are bold and brassy, Japanese Anemone is sophisticated and graceful, like the difference between a brass band and a string quartet. These plants produce the most exquisite flowers on tall, graceful stems that seem to float above the foliage. The flowers themselves are pure poetry. Simple, 5-petal blooms in pristine white or soft pink with the most beautiful cluster of golden stamens in the center. They have a papery, almost translucent quality that makes them look like they're glowing when backlit by autumn sunshine. But here's what makes Japanese Anemone absolutely magical in fall gardens. They bloom from late August all the way through October, sometimes even into November in milder climates. Just when everything else is preparing for dormancy, these beauties are at their absolute peak, swaying gracefully in cool autumn breezes, like dancers taking their final bow. The height they achieve, typically 2 to 4 feet, makes them perfect for adding vertical interest to fall displays. I love using them behind shorter plants like asters and mums, where their elegant stems and flowers create this gorgeous layered effect. They're particularly stunning planted near a fence or wall where you can appreciate their graceful silhouettes. Now, I need to share something important about Japanese Anemone. They can spread through underground runners, which some gardeners consider aggressive. But here's my perspective after growing them for years. In the right spot, this spreading habit is actually a gift. Plant them in an area where you want a naturalized drift of elegant fall flowers, and let them do their thing. The result is breathtaking. Sweeps of graceful blooms that look like something from a fairy tale. They're also incredibly versatile when it comes to growing conditions. While they prefer partial shade and consistent moisture, I've seen them thrive in full sun and even tolerate periods of drought once established. They're much more adaptable than their delicate appearance suggests. Plant 8, Hardy Garden Chrysanthemum, the classic reinvented, zones 5 to 9. At number 8, we have Hardy Garden Chrysanthemums. And before you roll your eyes thinking, oh, just regular mums, let me stop you right there. We're not talking about those grocery store mums that die after 2 weeks. We're talking about true hardy garden chrysanthemums that will come back bigger and better every single year. These perennial mums are absolute powerhouses of fall color, and the variety available today will blow your mind. We're talking deep burgundy pom-poms, sunny yellow daisies, bronze button mums that look like tiny suns, and core varieties that practically glow in the autumn light. The flowers are so densely packed that when they're in full bloom, you can barely see any foliage, just pure, concentrated color. What makes hardy mums absolutely perfect for fall gardening is their incredible timing and longevity. They don't start blooming until September, just when you're craving that burst of seasonal color, and they continue flowering until hard frost, sometimes even surviving light frost to bloom again. I've had mums blooming beautifully in November when there was snow on the ground. Here's a secret that most gardeners don't know. To get the best performance from hardy mums, you need to pinch them back through early summer. Every time they get about 6 inches tall, pinch off the top inch. Stop pinching by mid-July, and you'll be rewarded with incredibly full, bushy plants covered in flowers. It's like having your own personal flower factory. The maintenance is wonderfully simple once you understand their rhythm. Plant them in well-draining soil with full sun, water regularly but don't overwater, and divide them every few years when they get crowded. In return, you get months of spectacular color and the satisfaction of growing something that gets better with age. Plant 9, ornamental grasses, the movement masters, zones 4 to 9. Number 9 is ornamental grasses, and this is where we add that magical element that takes your garden from beautiful to absolutely mesmerizing movement and texture that brings your entire landscape to life. There's something almost hypnotic about watching ornamental grasses sway in the autumn breeze. Those feathery plumes catching the low angle of September and October sunshine create this incredible play of light and shadow that changes throughout the day. It's like having living sculptures that never look exactly the same twice. But here's what makes ornamental grasses absolutely essential for fall gardens. They're at their absolute peak when everything else is winding down. Fountain grass develops those gorgeous bottle brush plumes in late summer that persist through winter. Switchgrass turns incredible shades of gold and orange that rival any maple tree. Little bluestem transforms into the stunning bronze purple that looks like it was painted by a master artist. The varieties available for fall interest are incredible. Feather reed grass sends up tall, elegant plumes that stand at attention like golden soldiers. Japanese forest grass creates these cascading fountains of chartreuse that seem to glow from within. Maiden grass develops huge, silvery plumes that catch every breeze and create constant movement and interest. From a practical standpoint, ornamental grasses are gifts that keep giving. They're drought-tolerant once established, deer-resistant, and they provide four-season interest. In fall, you get the gorgeous plumes and changing foliage colors. In winter, those same plumes and seed heads provide architectural interest and food for birds. Spring brings fresh new growth, and summer gives you that lovely backdrop of green foliage. The best part? Most ornamental grasses require almost no maintenance. Plant them once in well-draining soil, and they'll thrive for years. Just cut them back to about 6 inches in late winter or early spring, and they'll return bigger and better than ever. Plant 10, Montalk Daisy, the grand finale, zones 5 to 9. And finally, at number 10, we have Montalk Daisy, the plant that will give your garden the most spectacular finale of the growing season. This incredible perennial saves its best performance for last, blooming from late September well into November with the most cheerful white daisy flowers you've ever seen. Imagine crisp white petals surrounding sunny yellow centers, creating perfect daisy flowers that seem to embody pure joy and optimism. But here's the amazing part. Montalk Daisy doesn't just bloom in fall, it thrives in fall. Cool temperatures, shorter days, even light frosts don't faze this tough beauty. It actually seems to get more vigorous as the season progresses. The plant itself forms these lovely mounded bushes covered in small, succulent-like leaves that have this beautiful blue-green color. Through summer, they provide attractive foliage, but you'd never guess what's coming. Then September arrives, and suddenly these unassuming plants explode into clouds of white flowers that literally cover the entire plant. I'll never forget the first time I saw a Montalk Daisy in action. I was visiting a seaside garden in late October, and there was this incredible drift of white flowers blooming, as if it were still August. The garden owner told me they were Montalk Daisies, and I couldn't believe something could look so fresh and vigorous so late in the season. I ordered some that very day. The salt tolerance of Montalk Daisy makes it perfect for coastal gardens, but don't let that fool you into thinking it only works near the ocean. These plants are incredibly adaptable and thrive in average garden conditions. They prefer full sun and well-draining soil, but they're remarkably tolerant of poor soil and drought once established. Before we wrap up, let me share the essential secrets I've learned over years of creating spectacular fall gardens. These tips will make the difference between good results and absolutely stunning results. Soil preparation is everything. Most of these late-blooming perennials actually prefer average to poor soil rather than rich, amended earth. Over-fertilized soil creates weak, floppy growth that can't support all those gorgeous fall flowers. Focus on drainage rather than fertility. Timing your planting matters. Spring and early summer are ideal for planting these perennials. This gives them time to establish strong root systems before their big fall show. Plants with strong roots produce more flowers and better color. Water wisdom makes all the difference. Most fall-blooming perennials need consistent moisture through summer to build up energy for their autumn display. But they hate wet feet. Deep, infrequent watering is better than frequent shallow watering. Strategic deadheading extends the show. Remove spent flowers regularly through summer and early fall to encourage continued blooming, but leave some seed heads in late fall for winter interest and wildlife food. If these tips are already transforming how you think about fall gardening, you absolutely need to subscribe to Golden Years Gardening. We share seasonal strategies and plant combinations that keep your garden looking spectacular year-round with minimal effort. Don't miss our upcoming videos on winter garden interest and early spring bulb combinations. There you have it. 10 incredible perennials that will transform your late summer and fall garden from boring afterthought to neighborhood showstopper. These aren't just plants. They're your ticket to having the most beautiful garden on the block when everyone else's is looking tired and done for the season. Just imagine stepping outside on a crisp October morning and seeing your garden alive with the golden flames of Helenium, the elegant dance of Japanese Anemone, the cheerful faces of Montalk Daisies, and the graceful movement of ornamental grasses catching the autumn light. Picture your neighbors slowing down their evening walks just to admire what you created. These perennials prove that you don't have to sacrifice beauty for low-maintenance gardening. You can have both spectacular displays that get better every year with minimal effort on your part. That's what smart gardening is all about. Which of these autumn stars will you try in your garden this year? Are you excited about the fiery colors of Helenium, or are you drawn to the elegant simplicity of Japanese Anemone? I'd love to hear about your fall gardening plans and successes in the comments below. If you've enjoyed discovering these late-season garden gems, make sure you subscribe to Golden Years Gardening and hit that notification bell. We're here to help you create beautiful, manageable gardens that bring joy every season of the year. Join our community of gardeners who believe that the best gardens are the ones that make you smile without wearing you out. Until next time, keep growing, keep discovering, and remember, your garden's grand finale can be even more spectacular than its opening act. Happy gardening, and here's to your most beautiful fall season yet.